We're going to go on with the double 50 today, the same position we did yesterday, but now we're actually going to go into entries, how you can get into the double 50, how you can basically start from like a neutral position like a guard and somehow manipulate everything so that you're in double 50 and then executing heel hooks. And then, like always, I'm going to chain that onto some sweeps and some positional escapes as well so that we have a nice, well-rounded game. But stand up. First things first, because we're going to be doing leg locks, I say it 1,000 times, I'll say it again. Inverting is really important if you want to do a leg lock game. You have to know how to invert. You're going to see that with our leg lock entries today. So we're just going to warm up a bit with some inversion practice. I'm going to start in this position. One leg is between my opponent's legs and the other is outside. I take this hand, I go under my leg and around his. And really important, when I go to invert, I don't want to kind of go in this direction. What I want is to put my head right here between his legs so that I'm not creating distance. And I want to land here, and I should be able to look my opponent in the eyes from between my legs. And from here, I take this leg out, and I use a big arc, and again, I don't want to land over here. I want my butt to land right there. And then I just keep going in the circle. Okay? So just kind of roll around on the ground for a bit. Okay, so just a quick refresher for the double 50, especially for you since you weren't there. Just lay down, yeah. So the double 50 is this position. This is what we call double 50, okay? Normal 50-50 would be if I came in like this, and double 50 is if I snag this leg with my leg to keep both of them in place. And from here I have a wonderful back heel hook. I wasn't even twisting, he's in a horrible position. This is a really good place for your heel hooks. So that's the double 50. Now, the thing is it looks like a really complicated position to get. It's actually, I think, in comparison to the normal backside 50-50, I think this is actually easier to find with a lot of the same entries. So we're just going to go to the normal butterfly guard. So I have my opponent in the butterfly guard. And what I want to do is I want to have him basically in this position, okay? I've seen people do this entry and that they grab like this. I don't like this because if my opponent is bigger than me, normally he can smash into me here. Go ahead. And then I'm on my back. And this is not a good position when your opponent's heavier. I don't like to be in this position with a heavy opponent. I mean, I can just go. No, just into me. Yeah. I mean, I can still. Yeah, this is the problem. So if he gets a good grip and everything, no, just stay where you are. If he gets a good grip, I mean, I can still do some things, but this is a fight now. I don't like this position. Yeah, exactly. He starts working for his passes, and it's bad. So I like to keep him in a position where I have a buffer. So if I have my elbows on my knees and my hands in his armpits, and he tries to smash in now, I have right now actually exactly the position I was wanting to do myself. So I can control this a lot more effectively because I control his upper body now. So, but we're wanting to do this actively. So the idea is I'm going to take this and I'm going to launch him forward with both my arms and my legs. So I roll back and get it in here. Okay? Now his legs are really light and his arms are what he needs to support his own weight, or he does an epic face plant. From here, I'm going to invert, And now I've got my double 50. From here, we can just finish. Okay? Now, I will say for your information, normally your opponent's not going to keep his feet in the air like that. So if I do this, he's normally going to go into what we call a figure 4 or a 4-point. So from here, he's not going to keep his feet up like this. He's normally going to, yeah, exactly. He's normally going to try and do this, because this is a more stable position for him. But the good thing for me is this makes my inverting even easier. And now I've got my figure 4 even easier. Okay, so one more time, again, your opponent, yeah, again, just showing it as well. Again, your opponent's natural reaction, because he doesn't like having his feet in the air, because I can do all sorts of weird stuff with him from there. So he's going to go into a 4-point, so I launch him forward, and he's going to, yeah, exactly. And from here, and this is where your inversions start becoming important. I go in with this arm, I bring this leg out, and I invert. And I bring my legs up and out. This leg weaves in, and this leg cuts down. And now I have my double 50. And I can go right in my heel hook. Okay? Show that one more time. Can you use another one? Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so again, like I said, I've got my important, I don't want my elbows free in the air like this, okay? I want my elbows in my knees, so that if he starts pushing in on me, I've got a nice frame now. Okay? So if my elbows are in the air and he starts, I don't have as much of a frame anymore. So this is a nice frame. I can hold a lot of weight like this, and I just launch him forward with my feet. Yeah, that's going to be about how he reacts. And I keep my elbows on my knees together to basically avoid pulling him out. I don't do this. So knees stay up, elbows stay on the knees. Now one arm goes in, and the opposite leg comes out, and you go into this kind of inversion. It's like the candle on your shoulders that you did in high school. And the outside leg weaves in, and the inside leg goes to this knee and clamps everything down. And then you can just drop your heel, go into your reverse figure 4, and start getting that tap. Okay? Anyone need to see that again? So, like I was saying, I think everyone's getting an idea for the entry now in the backside 50-50. So now I want to kind of expand a bit on the general situation and add a mount escape. Everything today is kind of revolving around bottom position and how I can make the best out of my position here on the bottom when my opponent is on top. So now we're going to assume my opponent has the mount. Okay, really important note when you have an opponent who has you in the mount. Come up high. Higher. Yeah. This is bad for me. This is probably the worst mount I can be in. Actually, if he comes up just a little bit more. Yeah, now I'm in real trouble. Okay? I can take, my bridge has no effect on him basically because he's in the chest area. I have a hard time pushing him back down. He has free access to my arm, and I can't really resist very much because of this odd position I'm in. So when your opponent is in the mount, that is the position you want to avoid at all costs. This is the worst mount I can give it. So when your opponent gets into the mount, start drilling into your body that the minute this position comes, you immediately start framing, okay? Now if he tries to move up into the chest mount, now I have a frame that I can use. I mean, it's not impossible for him to break my frame and still get the chest mount. Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, I've given him a fight now. Now he has to worry about things. And as he's trying to break my frame, go ahead, try. I can start doing stuff like this now. I keep him in an area where my bridge is going to do something, and I can start fighting from this position. So this this is the first reaction I want everyone to have when you're in the mount with anyone. Just immediately. One arm is across his hips, and one arm is basically going down his thigh, and I've got my elbow about at his knees, so that I can push here and keep him from rising up. Because this is the last thing I want, is him getting a high chest mount and me going, And you've got to remember, Jan is lighter than me. If you've got someone like Ryan's size, or not this Jan, but the big 130 kilo Jan on top of you like this, I can say from experience that's a horrible position. You won't enjoy being in that at all. Okay? So, like I said, long story short, that's why you want to kind of get used to this position. Okay? So, and sometimes what you've seen me do is, if I'm in the mount with some of you, I will, in this position, if I'm in the bottom position, I lay my feet together. Go ahead.
Your feet?
Nee, also, deine Füße ineinander. Yeah, exactly. You've probably all seen or felt me do this, unlink your feet. Because one of the first escapes everyone tries to do from here is this. Okay? And if he links his feet together, I can't do that anymore. At the very least, not as easily. Okay? So that's going to be our general assumption right now, that our opponent gets mount and links his feet together so that I can't do what would be the easiest escape. Okay? So now I have to start worrying about how to get in some way into my mount escape. Sometimes you can bring your feet in. I can do this, but I don't know if this is a very good strategy for everyone, because I have, especially for my age, fairly flexible hips. From here, I find it easy to come on his feet and separate them. I know a lot of people who can't do that as easily as I do. So I wouldn't. If you can do it, great, but I don't know if I recommend it to everyone, because some people don't have as easy to move like that. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to shift our frame to 2 hands on the hips. It's still the same frame. I'm still keeping him from moving up, but now instead of the one arm here, I have both hands on his hips. And this is what I don't want. I don't want him upright, so I'm going to bridge. And from here, I'm going to go up, keep your feet hooked, and I'm going to push with my arms as my hips come back down. And now I'm in my butterfly guard. Yeah, and well, first of all, stay here, stay where you would have been. Your hands were on the floor. Yeah, so now I'm in a butterfly guard, and now from here, I take my hands in his armpits, lift with my legs and push him away. And now I'm in exactly the same position we were just in. I can toss him and go into my double 50. Okay? So, but back to this escape. Like I said, first things first, we immediately frame because we don't want him climbing up. From here, notice I'm keeping contact. I'm not doing this. Okay? From here, slide your arm across him. Don't just, okay, you want your hands in constant contact. Okay? And again, if he starts doing this, the good thing is his hips are still on mine, so it's easy to get his hands to the floor, and that's what I want. His hands on the floor. I bring my hips down as I push out, and I bring my knees in. Okay? And then I just drop him in my butterfly guard. Hands in the armpits. Lift, push, and toss. Invert. Backside 50-50. Okay? Let's see how it goes when we're all trying to do it. Okay, so give it a try. Okay, we're starting in the closed guard. Like I said, I just want to add a quick sweep to the whole thing so that we'll have a sweep, a mount escape, and then a leg entry, so that we have a nice good combination of techniques that we can mix and match. Okay? So, the general thing right here is when he wants to escape my close guard, he's going to try and keep his body upright. He doesn't want me to come, he doesn't want this, because now I've broken his posture and now I can start doing things, okay? So what very often happens is they'll start by doing something like this and trying to pin my hips. The good thing is if I can just take my hands on his elbows, and now I get him nice and broken. Okay, try to resist. Everything you've got. Okay? So even if he's resisting, I can get it out. But Ryan. Okay? Try to pin my hips to the ground as much as you can. Everything you've got. Okay? Ready? Okay. One more time. Yeah, that's everything. Yeah. Hard to hold, huh? Yeah, the thing is, it's like, if you're pushing this way, and I'm pulling out this way, I'm pulling in a direction that you don't have support anymore. It's like, if you're pushing on my hand, everything you got. And I just move you to the side, that's the direction you don't have support in anymore. So I'm using that to break his posture. So he's going to start trying to pin my hips, and I just move him in the direction he has no support, and I immediately grab his head. From here, I can open my close guard and trim out to one side. And from here, I bring my knee in, and I kind of hook in here on his armpit. The other foot I bring here to his knee, and we're going to do basically a push sweep. I'm going to push this knee out, kick him over, and I land directly into the mount. From here I can put my feet in, and this is where he does his mount escape. Yeah, exactly. And we go through the whole chain again. Okay? It's a fairly simple sweep. The push sweep, I think most people learn that in the first week of Jiu-Jitsu, but it works. I mean, it's an effective sweep. So, just showing it again, like I said, first thing, anytime you're in close guard, you want broken posture. You want him broken down. So you remove his posts and grab his head. Unhook, hip escape, and bring the foot in. My knee is basically at his head, okay? I don't want to be like this. Okay, so I bring my knee, my shin is on his shoulder, my knee is beside his head. Okay? This foot comes to the knee. You can try it up here, but you're not going to get a lot of leverage. You really need to come down to the knee, and you just push the knee out of the way. That removes the posts, and now I can just kick him over with my foot. And I immediately land in the mount. If you're in a tournament, that's 6 points. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then mount escape, and just go ahead. And then wee. Yeah. And we land originally. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So basically go from a position where you were in the worst possible position to winning the fight. Not bad. Okay, I think the sweep though is pretty simple. I think it's probably easier if I let you guys try it out a bit, but the general mechanics are not hard. It's just basically I have a knee here, I have a foot on his knee, on the opposite knee, and I just straighten the leg, and the minute he does that, he falls.
Can you hook on my leg? So like a
Here?
butterfly?
Not really. I mean, you could try it. The thing is, honestly, to do it like this, I have to be much further away from you, and I don't have as much leverage here. If I'm going to have a butterfly hook in, I would honestly just come up here and do a hook sweep. But I have to be closer to you for that. control your upper body then. So if I have a hook in here, I would go to a normal hook sweep. So if I'm up here, this is when I'm trying to work for the, because I can come on this leg a lot easier. Because again, if I'm in here, again, we're probably going to be like this anyway, and now it's actually really hard for me to get to this knee.
Yeah.
Even me with kind of my weird hips that kind of move the way they shouldn't, even I'm finding it hard, and I actually have to move out a bit, and if you now just take this arm and shove on my face, yeah, exactly. I kind of have to break my own posture to try and get to that knee, and I don't like that.
Okay.
So that's why if I'm going to do this specific version of the sweep, I would come up here, yeah, like that. Okay? So, give it a try.